is a simple illustration or tutorial on how to cut a mermaid dress with train. So if this is something you like, kindly hit on the subscribe button. Now to start drafting this pattern, you need your basic measurement for your skirt pattern. You need your waist to hip point. Your waist to hip point can be 7 inches or 8 inches depending on your height. Now just go ahead to label that. The next measurement you need is from your waistline to your knee point. So you're going to go ahead to mark. After marking, you're going to place your ruler and you're going to draw a straight line. After marking out a straight line, you want to go ahead to come up by 2 inches from that your knee point and mark. That is where your mermaid skirt is going to start. So go ahead to label. So I'll go ahead, mark the waist measurement divided by 4. I'm marking this on a smaller scale because I'll be doing a little slash and spread on this. To mark your waist measurement divided by 4, add your sewing allowance and also your dart. Let's say your waist is 28, divide it by 4, it will give you 7. Then add your sewing allowance to it, probably 1 inch, it will give you 8 inches. Then add your dart to it because you'll be taking out your dart, right? To mark your dart is your nipple to nipple divided by 2 and then you come down by 6 inches. So what I'll do now is to connect my waistline, my dart line all the way down. So you mark ½ inch on both sides. So that is why I said when you're marking your waist measurement, add your dart allowance to it. Your dart allowance is about 1 inch. Then you're going to also add your sewing allowance. So mark your hip measurement, divide it by 4, your sewing allowance. So for the upper part at the waist, I added all the measurements together. That is your waist measurement divided by 4. Replace your dart intake of 1 inch and also add your sewing allowance. Now you want to take the measurement from your hip, minus 2 inches from it. If you want that fitted effect we have here, you have to take out 2 inches, then connect it to this point, these 2 inches you came up here. If you don't want it to be that fitted, please just use 1.5, minus 1.5 from your hip and mark here. Mark your measurement here is either you use your hip measurement divided by 4 plus 6 or 8 inches, or you're going to fold your fabric by 18. That is, if you times it by 2, it will give you 36. That is, you're using a whole 1 yard for the lower part of the skirt. Now, anyone that gives you a bigger measurement at the lower part, that is what you use. Like my hip is 40. If I divide it by 4, it will give me 10. If I add extra 6 inches to it, it will give me 16. But if I add extra 8 inches, it will give me 18. Right? Let's say if your hip is bigger, like if your hip is about 45, it's best to divide it by 4, then add extra 8 inches, because let's say your hip is wide and you use that 18 inches to fold at the lower part, it might not really give you what you want. Now what you do is to trace this out. Now we're going to do a slash and spread here in case you want to have more volume to the lower part. That is, you're not okay with how the lower part is, just like we have on that picture, it has more volume by the side. So what you do now is from the midpoint here, I will go ahead to slash. Now when I slash and get to this point, I will open it up to this way so that it can help me spread it out more. Now you notice we have more volume by this side, right? We are tilting this by the side of the dress. Now what I will do now is to add another pattern paper underneath it, then I'll close it up with that pattern paper underneath. For this final stage, you can just slash your pattern. Let's say you're making the dress now, you place it your fabric and you're going to open it up, right? Open it up on your fabric, then pin it, unless you just want to do all your cutting directly on your pattern paper before going ahead to place it on your fabric. Now you see me using my tape to hold this down. After doing this, what I'll do is just to go ahead to trace this out. That way, you're going to have much volume by the side of your skirt, just like we have here. If you notice, the side has more volume, like more fullness. So this is what you're going to have when you draft this. Now, let's work on the back pattern of this dress or the skirt. Right? Now, place this on another pattern paper. What you're going to do now is to add your zipper allowance. For my zipper allowance, I'm using 1.5 inches and I'm going to connect this. You can use 2 inches for your zipper allowance, but I prefer using 1.5. Now what you're going to do is you're going to extend the back, but before doing that, I'll just draw out this line as a guide. Now this side has a train or a train at the back. I don't know how to pronounce what I want to say now. We're just going to add a train here, but before doing that, what I'll do is I'm going to take here down. So when I get to this point, I'll make like a little curve so that that curve will flow all the way from the upper part. Now depending on how long you want the train to be, you're going to extend this. So since I'm using a pattern paper, I'll just use the total length of my pattern. Now the length you mark here determines how long the train will be. Now what I'll do is I'll start connecting from the tip here. Now I'll go down a bit. You can go down by 15, 10, 20 inches, and then I will connect, right? If you look at the lower part of this dress, it has this flowy effect, so you have to like come down at least 10, 15, 20 inches, 25, depending on how you want it to flow at the lower part. So I don't know the exact measurement you'll be going for, but whatever you're doing at the back, it should be longer than that of the front pattern. Now what I'll do is I'll go ahead to cut this out. So let's say this measurement we took out here, let's say it's about 0.25 to create the curve. I'm going to replace it by the side of the back pattern, right? So all you have to do is to cut this out. Now after cutting this out, I will still go ahead to like slash this open. So this is what I have here now. I'll open this up down by 0.5 inches here, and I'll connect. This will make your zipper at the back to not be popping up, especially if you're making a corset with this dress, right? So what I'll do is I'll lift this up. If you want to add more volume or fullness to the back, you slash this way, and you're going to open it up like this. At that point, you open it, spread it out. So that is how you're going to get this much volume at the back. So the more you open up your pattern, the more volume you have. Or if you're okay with the previous one, you can just leave it and cut it that way. So I'll just open this up and use my tape to hold it down. After that, this is what your pattern should look like for your skirt.